So I'm going to answer some questions that were asked on my Instagram. I told you I'd answer them on the YouTube so I can actually interact with y'all a little better and not just type the answers in every time like I normally do. And I just got the YouTube going. I've had a lot of people tell me in the last year or so I need to get one going, and I haven't because I don't really know what I'm doing. But I'm trying to figure it out, and be patient with me, and I'm going to get it up and running hopefully pretty soon. But I'm going to go ahead and read off some of these questions and answer them for y'all. My favorite memory of Rufio would probably be just him eventually learning to respect me, and we kind of have a mutual respect with each other, and he knows that I'm not a threat to him. So when I open his enclosure to feed him, he comes towards me instead of retreating. So that's been very, very rewarding. I'd say that's probably my favorite memory so far. How many animals have I rescued? That's a good question. I'd say probably around 25 to 30. A lot of cats, dogs, reptiles, rats, birds, ferrets. I think that about covers it, that part of it. So I'd say around 25 to 35 rescues. And hopefully, once I save up the money and get a bigger piece of land and bigger house, I'll be able to bring in more in the future. Show us pets and names. So what I'll do is I'll make a video again sometime later on where I'll actually video all the animals and give you a little bit of information about each one, including their names. If I leave or go out of town, is there anybody that I'd trust to take care of my animals? That's actually a good question because not really. So if anybody's interested, let me know, because that is a big concern. If I need to go out of town or something, if I have to, then it can be kind of an issue. So if you're interested in that, yeah, let me know. Most rewarding part of taking care of reptiles would be the relationship I build with them. Reptiles can be finicky animals, and you have to interact with them on a daily, weekly, if not daily basis to keep that relationship mutual. Because you know how reptiles start hiding from you, they can become aggressive, or it's a lot harder to work with them if you don't interact with them regularly. And if you need to take them to the vet or do anything with them, an animal as large as a 6 or 7 foot crocodile or monitor lizard could really mess you up if you don't have that good relationship with it, and if it doesn't trust you, then it can make things very, very complicated for sure. Ever owned a turtle? I have not. I really like turtles. I deal with snappers a lot around here, common and alligator snapping turtles, as far as relocating them, getting them off roads, getting them out of pools and stuff like that. Never owned one, but eventually one day probably will. Tips for becoming a wildlife biologist? I'd say just as much experience as you can. Internships, refuges, national parks, stuff like that. Internships are a good way to get your foot in the door. I worked through SCA, Student Conservation Association, for many years, and it kind of helped me get the experience I needed. 'Cause I've got probably 5 or 6 years of field experience, probably actually more like 7 or 8 years of field experience, along with some paid internships, along with some that I didn't get paid on. So you're gonna have to suck it up and not make a lot of income for a while. And if you're lucky enough to have parents that help you pay for that kind of stuff while you're trying to find your career, that's also good. I know not everybody's as fortunate as other people, but just volunteer and internship as much as you can. Animal caretaking along with field work is a good way to go, because I finally found my calling within the last 3 years probably. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. I did field work, worked a lot with bears, birds of prey. I did some work with salmon and forestry work, wildland firefighter work. I've done a lot of stuff, and I did the caretaking thing for a little bit. And the animal caretaking is good. It's fun, but there's just not a lot of money in it. And I want more money just so I can take care of my animals and give them the best life possible. That's really one of my biggest concerns in life, is making sure I can take care of my family and my animals, make sure they all have a good life. And And I'm going to answer one more for now. Are the mice dead or alive when I feed them to my reptiles? So I never feed live mice or rats to my animals just because people say, oh, it's nature. It's not nature when you throw an animal into an enclosure and it can't escape. That's not nature. That's being confined to four corners and you have no chance. So I know it's not. It's some people like it, but it's not for everybody. I don't enjoy watching it. I don't do it, and I don't put videos up of it. But I also don't do it at all. I just don't feed my animals. I feed them worms and fish and stuff sometimes, but I'm not going to feed them rats or chicks or anything like that. Some people like to do that, and some people like to watch it, but I don't really care for it. So yeah, everything I do is pre-killed beforehand. So I'll do another one of these later on. I appreciate the questions y'all have asked, and I'll see y'all again soon.